Morning. Friday morning. We'll wait about 5 minutes to get started. The parts for my window came in, so a bunch of the windows actually. So that's probably what I'll be working on, getting some windows working again. Wish me luck. Windows are heavy and awkward and full of glass, so I try to be careful. I was going to work on it yesterday, but Dave wasn't here, and I thought, I don't know. I feel like I might need a hand with some of this. So the tricky part is getting them out of the window. Good morning, Linda. They don't always want to come out because of the way they're attached, and it's a bit. The first one I did, I wasn't sure. I was doing it right, so I can be less careful now because now I know what I'm doing. But the first time you do it, you're always like, you don't want to ruin everything, but I mean, you never want to ruin everything. I hope that I got it now, but we'll see. So you can just sit and breathe, getting ready. Okay, 5 past. So just keep breathing, shoulders relaxed. Notice how it feels to breathe. make sure you're holding the chest and the abdomen not so tight, so you'll feel that expansion. And if you're not really sure if that's happening, bring your hands down to your belly and just feel that rise and fall. So notice anywhere you might feeling some tension, maybe shoulders, maybe the jaw. Um, if you have a tendency to clench your jaw, um, bring in that tip of the tongue behind the front teeth, kind of breaks that cycle of clenching the jaw. You can't really do it because you're going to get the tongue in the way. Um, and just having that tongue forward in the mouth kind of changes how the jaw is working. So that's a nice kind of thing to remember if that's an issue for you. I know it's an issue for me. And I'll notice kind of during the day that I'll just be clenching my jaw and I'm not even really aware of it. It's just kind of a place where tension sinks into my body. You may have different, some people, the shoulders will start to rise up. Some people, um, they're holding their body so tight that they'll start to um, get, kind of a back spasm or pains in the side. Some people do that, and then, so these things lead to other things. So you're holding this tension, and then that kind of translates into digestion problems, stomach aches, or elimination issues, constipation, diarrhea, that kind of thing. So when they say stress will kill you, they don't, and we think about that, we're like, oh, I don't really get what that means. I mean, yeah, I don't feel great when I'm under stress, but habitual stress in the body causes physiological change in the body over time, right? It doesn't happen in one day. Um, your blood pressure, right? If you're holding everything tight, there's stricture in the body. The body is working harder to try to get that blood through. And it naturally is going to have to raise your pressure to make that happen. Um, so your body is always trying to make the best of whatever kind of situation you're giving it. And unfortunately, what it has to do to function may be detrimental to our long-term health. Your body doesn't care because it just wants to get through whatever terrible situation it thinks you're in right now. Um, so when we are holding that stress, we are constantly making the body feel like there's something quite terrible going on, and we've just got to power through. Um, and that may be true short term, right? And you do need that, right? We want that response to help us move on. But again, we can't live like that. So um, that can become sort of your default, and we don't want that. Noticing, right, what those physical changes are in the body not only helps you manage short term, but long term as well, right? So you break that cycle, get out of whatever loop you've gotten into with the body. Try something new. And it starts, right? I mean, it sounds like a whole big thing, but it really just starts with being aware. How do you act in certain situations? How does the body react? And we can't do that if we aren't observing, right? If we are so caught up in what's going on that we can't step back and notice, we're going to miss a lot of really important information. So, being able to separate yourself from what's going on, from your sort of very normal emotional reaction to something, being able to see beyond that, see what's happening, right? Instead of being so caught up into what's happening that you can't look and see the repercussions. Right? So it just starts with noticing. Notice what's happening. Notice what's happening with your body. So let's bring hands together. We're going to do our little Shanti mantra. I think this whole thing's kind of evolving as we go, but I think maybe we'll do a mantra a week. We'll come up with something, at least for a while, until we run out of the we run out of the easy ones, and then they get too big to handle. And we'll mix it up a little, but it's a week seems like a good time. Oh, and you guys are in for a treat. We're gonna do the yama and niyamas again, because now finally I have everybody in an order, right? So normally it's jumping all over the place, and I see one person, some people Tuesday, Thursday, but then they didn't come this week, so they've skipped the whole thing. And eventually you catch up and you've heard it all at least once, but I don't have to keep track of anything. I just go, oh yeah, what did I do yesterday? Not what did I do 3 classes I had yesterday and then today, and yeah. So it's gonna be great. Let's breathe in and out. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, moving back here. Warming up. So we're still sitting as comfortably as we can. Let's hang the head down. Just let the head hang heavy, shoulders relaxed. Head back up, and then chin lifts, shoulders relaxed. Back to center, breath in. Head's going to the right. Back to center and head to the left. And back up. Let's walk the hands out. And then behind, you can either have fingertips away from the body or towards the body. Doesn't make a huge difference, although you'll feel there is a difference depending on which one you do. Gaze up. See if you can squeeze the shoulders together. And back up to your seat. Left hand on the right knee, right arm behind, sit up tall, taking a twist. Back to center and switch sides. And back to your center. Bring the arms wide here and then lifting up. Arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. One more lift. And lower. Let's bring the left arm up. And then we're going to bend at the elbow and just bring that arm down as much as you can, just kind of tilting the head over to the left. Back up, switch your sides. And back up. Tabletop. Cat-Cow, moving. Lift the head, and then lift the body. And sitting back on the heels. And let's do rabbit here. So again, I'm going to tuck the chin so that the crown, so just this top part of the head, is resting on the mat lightly. Arms by your side, reaching back for the heels. You want the knees pretty much together for this. And then we're lifting up and holding on to the heels, or, tucking the fingers under the ankles, something like that. Kind of helps you stop, right? So you're not going to lean too far forward. And then set back down. We're going to bring arms out in front. We'll stack the fist and rest the head. So the crown of the head is a very interesting part of it's the top, so the crown chakra, like the top chakra. It's kind of an interesting place, physiologically. We've got that place where the skull grew together. We all had that soft spot as a baby, the fontanelle, before that happens. And that's sort of special and spiritually kind of special too, because that's sort of our connection from, the brain outward, right? So stimulus to that area, and there's a lot of poses that do that. I mean, a lot of like headstands and those type of things are very beneficial because they stimulate that area of the crown. But we don't do, again, like, headstands have their own issues, right? Not just because you might tip over, but your neck, especially if you aren't used to doing it. And a lot of times people jump into things trying to do headstands before they've really developed the muscle structure through the neck and shoulders to be able to support their weight without all of the weight resting right on the head and the neck. So I'm not advocating you get into headstands right now, unless it's something that you already do. But you can do things like rabbit that will give you some pressure to the top of the crown of the head, which gives you that stimulation, but in a very controlled way, very safe way. So rabbit is a great pose. If you can get into that, it's very helpful for a lot of things. So there's a lot going on, right? We always know that with our poses. Lots more than meets the eye. So back up, tabletop to downward dog. Kind of walk it out. And then step the feet up to the hands. We're here in our fold. And then slowly make your way up. Tall in your mountain. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the right. Set your knee down. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Moving back to downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lifting up head and chest. And lower. Inhale, head and chest again. And lower. Once more, head and chest. Or you could come up, upward dog. And then moving back to your downward dog. One more breath. Bend the knees. Walk your way up to the top. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms high. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank, and then lower down. On an inhale, we're lifting up and lower. Inhale, lift up, lower. Once more, lifting up halfway or all the way, upward dog. Moving back, downward dog. One more breath, bend the knees, walk your way up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the arms. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Breath in, breath out. And let's work on some balance. So it looks like my mat has scooted all the way down. I think this carpet's going to have to go. That may be my project for this weekend. So we'll start with tree, standing on the left. Got the right foot in. Standing tall, shoulders relaxed. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw or holding your breath. You might extend the arms if you feel pretty solid. And then bring everything back down. And let's switch. So now we're standing on our right. Keeping everything steady. And release the foot down. Bicycle legs a little bit. And then we're going to step out into Warrior 3. So we've got a little space in front of us, hands together. Deep breath. And then left foot steps out, as shifting the weight over onto that side, and we're lifting. Right leg lifts as we're leaning forward. Might have a little bend in that right knee. If that helps you control things a little better. Without that bend, our tendency is to kind of lock the knee, which is a lot less stable. Not the best choice. And then set your foot back down. And we're going to switch now. Breath in, stepping out with the right. And we're leaning a bit forward, and that left leg is lifting. Hands maybe at center or out to the sides. See what works for you today. And again, if you step out, you can come on right back in or try again if you want. Or if you find that's not working for you today, try a different balance. We've done plenty of different balance poses. You know what they are. You can choose your favored one today. And then just set everything down. Bicycle out the legs. And then we're just going to lift up the right leg. So hands at the waist. Extend that right leg out. Lift the foot. If that's a lot today and you don't feel like you're really going to want to do that, you can always touch the toe. You could try lifting and experiment, right, with that lift. Set the foot down, switch sides. And back down. Bicycle legs a little bit. And then come on back to the mat. Arms up overhead. Maybe interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Reach up a little, lean back, and then fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. And lower down. And just get yourself comfortable here. Maybe toes point in, heels outside. So your feet kind of look like that. Head turns to the right. Head back to center. Let's set up for Cobra here. We've got hands about chest height, elbows close to the body. And then we're going to lift up head and chest. Hover your hands and keep breathing. And then lower down. Head turns left. Arms by the side. And then bring your head back to center. We're going to set up for Sphinx Pose. So coming up on the elbows. Got the hands pressing down. Some width between the hands, right? Sometimes people have the hands, right close together. That's not really going to work out too great. So hands pressing down. And then we're gazing out, pulling the shoulders back, pressing the chest forward. And then lowering down. Maybe we'll keep the hands out in front and just rest the forehead. And as you're breathing, focusing on the back body and the side body. See if you can allow that expanding to happen. Right? The floor is pressing against the front of the body, so we don't really have anywhere to go. But if we don't have that looseness in the back and the sides, people can actually get kind of short of breath when they are on their belly. So we want to connect that movement with a sensation, right? So that's something that we work on as we go through these poses. Sometimes we're not even sure what that means, right? So when I say, well, relax the back body and let it expand. Well, if you've never really felt that happen, how do you know how to do that, right? So this is a case where you physically have to do that, right? So exploring that sensation then makes it easier to do it again. You're learning kind of a muscle memory. Or if not muscle memory, a connection between sort of your brain and the sensation in the body. So if you don't feel a lot of expanse, don't worry, right? It just takes some time. If you can kind of visualize the lungs expanding, that helps, I think. Okay, and then we're going to do a half bow pose. So we've got the right arm out in front, bend the left knee, and we're going to reach that left arm back. So if you can grab a hold of the foot or the ankle, that's great. If you can't, maybe you're just reaching back. You might touch the heel or ankle. Maybe you're just going to be there. So what we want to do is try to stay pretty upright here. We've got that right arm pressing down. Whatever's going on back here with the foot. And then we're lifting up, kind of head and chest. You might push down with that right arm and then maybe lift the leg a little and breathe. And then relax it down, and we're going to switch. And then pressing down here, lifting. And relax. Arms out in front again. Take a few breaths. Then we're going to roll up on your side. So I'm going to roll my right side so that I am facing you, but you might want to choose whichever way you're going to roll so you're still facing your TV or your computer, whatever you're watching this on. So we're on our side. You can have the arm on the floor extended, or you could come up on your elbow, whatever you want to do here. We're going to bend this top knee. We're going to kind of balance on the hip that's on the floor. And then you can extend this leg. So you might hold on to the leg, kind of draw it in closer to the body. If you could reach the toe, that's great. If not, whatever you've got a hold of is fine. But we're trying to do two things. Either, extend the leg, if that's possible, and then maybe even bring it closer to the body. And then, let's say three things, because you're trying to balance also. And if you find balance is very challenging, bend that bottom leg and give yourself a little kickstand in the back, right? It's fine. Sometimes trying to do everything all at once just isn't the best way to go. So take it in chunks. And then set everything back down. Take a couple of breaths. And then I'm going to move to the other side. But you can just roll over and work on the other side if you want. Now that you know what we're up to here. So we're here, bending that top knee, whatever version of this you want to do. And then bending the knee, extend the leg out again. And then we're just going to come over onto the back. So we're laying on our back on the mat. Knees might bump together here. Just relax and breathe. Bend the right knee. We're going to bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. Either staying here or drawing that thigh in toward the chest. You want to try to keep the head and shoulders more or less relaxed on the mat. If you're up a little bit to get in position, that's fine, right? Sometimes we have to move around, but then we're going to try to relax back here. So relaxing that upper body brings it all into the legs and the hips rather than you trying to bring your body up closer to the leg. And then set it down, switch sides. And then set everything back down. We're going to get ready for bridge. So heels close to the body, arms by your side. We're going to press down, lift up the hips. And then lowering down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Breathe. And then bring the knees back to center. We're going to have goalpost arms or arms just extended to a T. Let's bring the right ankle up on top of the left knee. And then we're going to start lowering over to the left side. Easing right. Back to center. Switch. And then gazing left, everything goes over to the right. And then back to center. And we're going to just extend the legs here, take a few breaths. And maybe just move into Shavasana from here. So finding your comfortable place on the mat. Keep your breath moving through the body. Notice how you're feeling. Notice sensations in the body. The sounds in the room. The places where the mat makes connection with the body. Allow yourself to just sink down into the mat. Breathing in the peace and the calm. Breathing out any worries or concerns. Or frustrations of the day. Just let them go. Or maybe yesterday, right? Things sometimes linger. So these sensations of worry and frustration, they're very useless, right? They don't help us in any way. Um, Honestly, I feel like many times for me, they are a form of, well, they're a habit, right? They do get to be a habit. It's a habitual way of dealing with things. But they're also kind of a avoidance technique, right? The more sort of frustrated and worried I am about something, the less likely I am to just go and do it. You can put it off. And there's a justification there, right? We think, well, I'm worried about it, or I have to think about it some more, or, um, and nothing gets better, really. It gets bigger, really, most of the time. It's we don't improve our relationship with whatever this situation is, with this worry and this frustration. It actually makes it much worse, much bigger than it ever was to begin with. Um, our minds are amazing things, but left unchecked, they'll just run off into all kinds of dark places. So dealing with what we have in front of us now, not allowing ourselves to run down that rabbit hole of what if and worry and or just throwing our hands up in frustration and just not getting to anything. um, we don't want to do that, right? We um, want to take whatever steps we can today. Maybe they're the tiniest steps of all. Maybe it's just like one thing, but it's an accomplishment, right? It is movement in the correct direction. So I said this the other day too, right? This idea of you don't have to see everything to move forward. You don't have to see the top of the staircase to take the next step. You know it's a staircase. We've seen them before. We know how they work. Um, we trust that it continues. Um, we have faith that if there is a big hole somewhere up there in the staircase, we're going to find a workaround, or we're going to be able to jump across. Or maybe there'll be someone on the other side that sticks an arm out to give you a hand. Anything could happen. Um, but we trust that the universe has got our back, that we're smart, we are resourceful. We've gotten this far in life. There's no reason to expect that we aren't going to keep on going. So have faith in yourself, in the world, um, in the people around you. Um, there is a kindness that I've noticed among people now that I haven't seen in many years. Um, Not everybody, right? You're certainly going to find people that aren't that way. Um, but it reminds me that in our world, I'm never too shocked by the terrible things. What amazes me is how giving people are and how kind they can be, even under very difficult circumstances, personally, financially. Um, People want to help, they want to give. So receive that, be willing to receive that, um, and do that yourself, right? Even the smallest thing can help you feel like you're doing something to help. Right? I've been sewing these masks, and like there's a never-ending demand for them, and you can really get overwhelmed with that. So I've set some boundaries about how much I'm going to do every day. But it makes me feel great to know that I'm helping. Um, it's also been a good coping mechanism for me. I'm slowing down a little, but I really got like to the point where that was basically what I was doing most every day. It's just sewing and sewing and sewing. And I realized it was just a therapy. It was kind of a therapy for me to move through some of these days where there was, you know, didn't know what was going to happen or what was going to be for everyone in my household, in my neighborhood, in the world. Um, so, we're getting a little more comfortable with how things are, I think, or at least used to it. Um, but you may have times when you still need, you need a therapy. You need something that will move you through a hard time. And for me, it's always been about doing things, making things, producing things. Um, that may not be what it is for you. Maybe you are have other things that make you feel useful, make you feel like you're here for a reason. Find those things. Find the things that you like to do and that you feel it makes you feel like this is, something that I'm good at, something that I enjoy. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. You don't have to be good at it. You can be bad at it if you like it. If you really, it makes your heart sing. What is that makes your heart sing? If you don't know what that is, you better start looking, because there is something. Perhaps you just haven't found it yet, or maybe you knew about it, but you forgot. And if you're not sure, look back into your childhood. What did you do when you were a child that you loved? Those are the things that we discard sometimes as we get older. So look back and see what you can find. Moving a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet. If you'd like to stretch a bit and do whatever you want to do before you come up to a seat, that's great. And then we're bringing hands to center. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time this morning to come to yoga class, to share with us here in our virtual yoga. And I hope that you have a really great day. Namaste. Thank you all. Nothing really to report. I'm having class again tomorrow. And then everyone around here just remembered that it's Mother's Day. So this Sunday, I'd forgotten all about it. So I hope, if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have a nice Mother's Day. And I'll see you next week. But I will be here for class tomorrow at 9 again. All right. Any questions? Anything going on? No? Okay. I will see you tomorrow.